Hi guys, this is Carla again. This time I'm here with a review for episode 5 of season 8 of Castle titled The Nose. And I have to say, I haven't been the happiest with Castle. I mean, the previous, I don't know, 1 or 2 episodes weren't all that great. But I really loved this episode. And I mean, a lot of it really had to do with Mia because I think Mia was quite the character. She was really interesting. And I would love to see her come back, actually. And I know I always say this, but she was really fun. And I know that, of course, the writers took a lot of creative liberties with her condition. Probably. I don't know much about it, but if it even exists or whatever, but I'm quite sure it's not like that in real life, even if it does exist. But I like the idea of her as somewhat of a recluse who kind of thinks that the world is overwhelming. It's almost like a plotline with someone with agoraphobia, but instead of agoraphobia, there was a different twist to it, and I really liked that twist. I liked the idea that she was isolated. She had isolated herself from the world in order to avoid, just being overwhelmed all the time, and yet she still had the desire to do something right. I think that's very powerful, because sometimes we think that when people aren't social, there's something wrong with them. And okay, they might have some issues, but that doesn't mean they don't want to be part of the world. I thought that was really good. And of course, she's not going to suddenly become a social butterfly or anything, but she's going to try to be a bit more open, and that's great. And I like that Castle, because you could sort of see the turn. This previous episodes, since Beckett and Castle kind of split, these previous episodes, I felt Castle being very pushy in the idea of trying to be part of the investigation so that he can win Beckett over. And this episode started off that way. I mean, the first time he approached Mia, he kind of started off wanting to sort of use her in order to measure what his relationship with Kate was like. And but you could see it through the episode that he sort of started caring more and more about Mia herself. So I thought it was really nice of him, actually. I mean, it painted him in a better light than he had been for the past couple episodes to me. So I really like that. I'm still not all into the whole separation thing. Like, I still don't really get it. But the case itself, the whole thing with the forgery and not the forgery, and then they switched, but then they didn't, and then the killer had the forgery, and then he didn't, was a bit complicated for me to follow. But eventually it came down to everybody was a suspect at some point. Like, I knew that the personal assistant to that one dude was going to be involved again, because you just don't show someone that prominently if you're not going to use them. But I was glad that it wasn't him in the end. I mean, he still got himself thrown in jail because he's stupid, but I like that it wasn't him. I wasn't expecting the brother. I thought it was a bit sloppy that they never mentioned that that he was an art student. It's like, oh, by the way, did we not say this in the beginning? Oh, that's right, he studies art. It's kind of the one thing I don't like mystery shows and mystery stories to do, is like in the very end of the episode they're like, oh, that's right, there was this clue that we never gave you. But I don't mind too much. I mean, it had to be someone, had to be the brother. I did like, however, how they got to him, because as a chemist I'm really into the whole chemistry thing, and I liked that whole connection from nail polish remover to acetone, and from acetone to freon, and from freon to DNA. So that was pretty pretty cool. And again, it puts a smile on my face because of the chemistry, but it also puts a smile on my face because it was something Beckett and Castle uncovered together, and because it's what they do. That's the crux of the show. It's how they solve mysteries together and how they come to conclusions together, because they have two different points of view, but they complement each other so well. So I like that the show is still doing that, even though they're separated at the moment. About the Ryan and Esposito thing, I liked it. It was funny that Espo got shot in the ass. I didn't necessarily buy the fact that he got out of the hospital so fast and he was working and walking around. Dude, you were shot. Just it's gonna hurt. So I didn't really necessarily believe it, but I can overlook it just because it was funny. At the same time, I really was hoping that they would tell us what the hell was going on with Ryan, because he was weird this entire episode, and it wasn't just his sergeant's exam, being nervous about it, or even after when it became clear that he failed. There was something weird about him from the beginning. Like, remember in the parking garage when he was actually checking out Beckett's ass? Like, what's up with that? That was weird. And he was kind of jumpy and shaky the entire episode, and it didn't seem like it was because of the sergeant's exam. It was something with him, and we weren't necessarily told what that was, and I do hope that it comes up in the future, because I think there's something wrong with him, and I don't like it, because I like Ryan. He deserves the best, and he's not going to be sergeant anymore. So I really want to know, like, what's going on with him. Does he have problems at home? Like, it's not just the pressure of having 2 kids, right? But I want to see what it is. I hope that in this therapy that Beckett now ordered them on, it's going to come out. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. On the other hand, it was also nice to see a little bit more of Martha, because she's always kind of there in the background, but she doesn't do much, and we never actually see her on stage or anything, so we don't really, they tell us that she used to be a good actress, but we don't know, and for all we know, she's washed up by now, but she used to be famous. We've just never actually seen it. It's kind of an informed detail for us. So it's nice that she has fans. It's nice that she's good enough to have people who admire her. And I really liked that she got to shine a little bit in this episode. She deserves it, and we should see more of Martha. She's awesome. And just in general, I thought it was a really great episode. It was a filler, clearly, and I didn't even mind the separation that much in this episode, because Castle wasn't being as pushy, and Beckett wasn't kind of pushing him out or avoiding him through the entire episode like she was in previous episodes. So from both their sides, I kind of thought this one was a little bit better. And again, if they can keep the fillers kind of like this in a way, it's like, okay, that we know they're not together, and it's painfully obvious that they're not together, but it's not in a grating way. If they can keep the fillers like this, then I will be all up for them. Because of course I do want them to get together, but in order to get together, the whole arc storyline for Kate has to come back, and I get that they can't just have that be a central point in every episode, so there have to be fillers. But if the fillers are like this, I don't mind. Like, I can take it. I can take them being separated, as long as it's not kind of like a grating, like they're not just rubbing it in, adding salt to the wound every other episode. So yeah, and it was nice seeing Haley back. We didn't get to see Vikram, but he was mentioned, so it's good, because I like the new additions in this season. I think they're cool, and it's pretty good to like keep them around, like have them pop up back every once in a while. Haley's awesome, so I always welcome her. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty great episode. I mean, it was hilarious, it was heartfelt. I loved Mia. The separation was, I mean, it tugged at your heartstrings, but it didn't hurt that much. So, and the plotline was okay. So I thought it was a pretty good episode, and I really hope that the rest of the fillers that are going to happen are going to be just like this, because this one was really great. And I would like to see Mia come back. I always say this, and then they never come back, but I would like to have her back because she's hilarious. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review, and be sure, if you want to read or listen to more reviews of Castle, you can go to our website at geekypub.com. We have reviews for earlier this season and the previous season, and we also have reviews for other TV shows, movies, books, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to check it out, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.